Part 46. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich John Word. Chapter 451. Chapter 451. Thank you Lan for your contribution to my private money. Sunian laughed at such a blunt change of topic. What does it mean to work together? I'm your boss. If I'm not mistaken, then you should be the one working for me and making money for me. When she said this, Sunian patted her solemnly shoulder, but having said that, I still have to tell you that I have just taken over the company and am not very familiar with it, so I hope you can work harder. After all, this company is in my name. All the profits generated are my own money. Thank you Lanmin for your contribution to my private money. Earn private money for people you hate, and also make milk powder money. Haha, Sunian doesn't believe that he can't make the heroine angry to death. Sure enough, I saw that the smile on the corner of Lanmin's mouth was a bit far-fetched. So, Nian will have a lot of personal money in the future. If I spend more than my pocket money, can I come to you? Sun Ying'er immediately understood what Sunian meant and also agreed. It depends on the actual situation. Although Baikan loves me very much, I think I still have to be independent in the future. This clothing company is quite big. I think if I run it well, then the baby's milk powder, diapers, clothes. Now that we have money, the relationship between me and Baikan will get better and better. Milk powder, diapers, clothes. When Sunian said these words, he deliberately emphasized the pronunciation. Lanji is not changing the subject. She should like this topic. Lan Min, didn't you say before that you regard Baikan as your brother who is angry with you? Then if my child is born, he will call you aunt, and he will wear all kinds of things that aunt bought with money. I believe my child will definitely grow up healthily in the future. These words really made Lan Min unable to stay any longer. Well, I have something else to do. Sunian, Miss Sun, I won't be here to accompany you shopping. I have almost finished buying all the things I should buy. If you want to buy, then you can buy it slowly. Lan Min left in a hurry after saying this. She moved so fast, as if some ghost was chasing her. Sunian and Sun Ying'er laughed out loud at such an embarrassed look. Lan Min took a few steps. He actually bumped into someone directly. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Jian'er, are you okay? What's wrong with you? You look so ugly. Lan Min came to his senses, raised his head and saw Lu Jing. When Sunian saw Lu Jing, he looked at Sun Ying'er next to him with confusion. Why is this guy's face so faded? He couldn't speak the day before yesterday, but he can speak clearly today. Sun Ying'er, then let's ask later. Sunian thought it made sense, and then asked Lu Jing, Mr. Lu, what kind of medicine did you use to reduce the swelling so much? Please tell me. In this case, if I am allergic to my makeup next time, then I will also good to find the right medicine. Lu Jing's coming here is certainly not a coincidence. He came here wanting to take revenge. Last time he was in poor health and fell behind in front of Sunian. This time he had to find his own place to let the two women, Sunian and Sun Ying'er, know how powerful he was. You have gone so far. Two women bully one, don't you feel ashamed? Young Master Lu, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't talk nonsense. What evidence do you have to prove that we bully others? I'm not bullying anyone, that's what I'm doing all the time. In this situation, why are you so quibbling? End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich John Word. Chapter 452. Chapter 452. I can't give birth to a son as strange as you. Well, Mr. Lu, you can tell me why I am cunning. Who knows what you are quibbling about, Sunian? How dare you, a woman, to admit it? Now is a God-given opportunity. Not only can I regain my place in front of these two women, But I can also make my image great in Lan Min's heart. Sun Yan took a few steps directly in front of Lu Jing. This aggressive look actually made Lu Jing want to retreat. What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't think that I can't do anything to you even if you are a woman. I can do anything. If I hurt you then, don't rely on me. After Lu Jing appeared, Lan Min's mood improved slightly. At least now Lu Jing is here and he is not alone. But Lan Zhen's expression changed the next moment. It's because Lu Jing said, Sun Yan, I have never seen such a wolf-hearted woman like you. Do you know that Li Baikan once said a lot of good things to Lan Min, and Li Baikan confessed to her many times, and even said, if Lan Min chooses Li Baikan, nothing will happen to you now. This made Lan Zhen subconsciously grab his clothes. But in Lu Jing's eyes, this is what Lan Min also thinks he is right about. You don't know, once Lan Min wanted to eat something, she just said something, and then Li Baikan would try his best to get it. As long as she felt a little uncomfortable, Li Baikan would definitely guard her every step of the way, but if I'm not wrong, Li Baikan definitely didn't treat you like this, haha. But as for Lu Jing, the most uncomfortable person is Lan Min. Following Lu Jing's words, scenes appeared in Lan Zhi's mind. It seemed like every word was saying that she seemed to have missed someone who was good to her. Maybe even the best person in the world to her. Sun Yan was not timid at all, and said directly, okay, there is a surveillance camera in this store. I will ask the clerk to bring out the surveillance camera later. What if the surveillance camera shows that I did not embarrass Lan Min? The momentum of such a roar really shocked Lu Jing. Sun Yan took this opportunity to launch a sustained attack. If I don't have the recipe to embarrass her, then you can kneel down in front of the Li group and call me aunt. Sun Ying who was next to her, said in confusion, why is it my aunt? Isn't it usually the case that you call me mom? Sister, you are stupid. How could I give birth to a son with all kinds of strange things like Mr. Lu? I am still young, and I still want to be famous. All kinds of strange things. At first, Lu Jing was so shocked by Sun Yan's attitude that he didn't know what to say. But when he heard this, Lu Jing seemed to have caught Sun Yan's hand. It's all kinds of weird, haha, is this how you describe people? Aren't you a strange person? Lu Jing. Let me ask you, do you dare to bet? Lu Jing was directly frightened by Sun Yan's attitude. At this moment, Lan Min's voice sounded, okay, Lu Jing, please stop arguing. There is a misunderstanding. Pretending to be a white lotus here again, Sun Yan sneered in his heart, Lan Shi, tell me, have I made things difficult for you? Don't forget, I'm your boss, and you see me slandering you like this, boss. I'm not impressed at all. I'm deducting your salary now. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich John Word. Chapter 453. Chapter 453. You are making excuses. Why do you want to deduct my poor man's salary? Just because I am his boss. If your wife is not convinced, you can go to the Industrial and Commercial Bureau and tell her. At this moment, Lan Min cursed in his heart. Lu Jing, you are the boss. Don't you know how you came to be the boss? Of course I know, I snatched it from Huo Linyuan's hand, and if I remember correctly, you also wanted to something from Huo Linyuan, but you failed. If you round up, you are my subordinate. Defeat. This suddenly aroused Lu Jing's anger. Okay, let's get the video now. If the video shows you bullying my poor son, then you kneel down in front of my company and call me daddy. You look down on my son. But as a man, I have to let you go, I have to show my manly heart, and I accept you as my daughter. Lu Jing immediately called the waiter. Sun Ying'er was a little scared when she saw his posture. After all, it was she and she who were in trouble just now. If you really lose. Immediately he pulled off Lei Sunian's clothes. Unexpectedly, Sunian smiled and said, "Sister, even if you don't believe me, then you have to believe in this guy's brain." Sunian's voice was very loud when he said this. It can be said that he didn't take Lu Jing next to him at all. This will make Lu Jing angry immediately. The video was quickly brought. When Sun Ying'er said retribution, he immediately called a timeout. "Stop, stop, stop, don't you mean bullying here? Ha ha ha, Sunian, you lose, you lose." Lu Jing was a little worried when he saw Sunian's attitude. "But I didn't expect it." Sunian was not in a hurry at all. She gave Sun Ying'er a faint look. Sun Ying'er immediately said, "I was the one who bullied you, and it wasn't my Nian Nian who bullied her. What's wrong? You two are together." Sunian said calmly, "Legally speaking, as far as the video is concerned, my sister is the principal offender and I am an accessory. When we made the bet just now, it didn't count when I was an accessory." "Lu Jing, you are sophistry. How about I quibble? If you are not convinced, then we will bring out the law and see if that's how I described it." Sun Ying'er, who was next to her, also spoke up, "I think what I told is the truth. She wanted me to be the stepmother for Ali's child before, but she didn't expect that the reincarnation of heaven would bring retribution to her. Could it be that Miss Lan thought that she would be the stepmother of Ali's child? Is it a happy thing for a beloved man to become a stepmother?" Lu Jing spoke subconsciously to retort. But when he reached his mouth, he realized that he seemed unable to refute. After all, if there is a refutation, then wouldn't it be better for Lan Ren to be the stepmother of Huo Linyuan's child? His son is so innocent. If one really listens to it, it will be over. You know, he hopes that he can use this opportunity to find opportunities. With Lan Min completely giving up on Huo Linyuan, he can bring the beauty back home. Lu Jing directly changed his tone, "Then you can't say that. It was already very difficult for her to be someone else's stepmother. You two are still poking at other people's scars. You two guys really feel embarrassed." End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich John Word. Chapter 454. Chapter 454. "Mr. Lu, you can't afford it, can you? What do you mean? We should give her a good blessing and wish her to be the stepmother of the son of her beloved man at such a young age." Sunian now feels that this Lu Jing is his teammate. Ha ha ha, as expected, the enemy's pig teammates are the best friends. Every time he said the word stepmother, Lan Min's expression changed. Since this is the case, then she should say it well. "That's not what I meant. It's sad enough for her to be a stepmother, and it's not like Zuer wants to be a stepmother. Don't you understand such a simple thing as Sunian? Let me give you an analogy. You haven't thought about it? If you what to do when faced with such a situation." Sunian said firmly, "I am a selfish person. I never want others to use the things I have used, but I am also considerate. If such a situation really happens, I will definitely leave on my own initiative and leave everything wouldn't want it." When Sunian said the words leave voluntarily, Lan Min looked directly at her. "But I don't like to give the things I have used to others, so I will use physical means to take away Baikon's third leg." Sun Ying'er. Lu Jing. Lu Jing didn't even know what to say. Physical means. Lu Jing was wondering if he should send a few women to Li Baikon's side. Sunian continued to say seriously, "So the situation you mentioned will not happen, and I will not feel the same way." This is not true. Sun Ying'er couldn't help but get closer to Sunian. Nian, aren't you a little too cruel? Why are you so cruel? Do you want others to use your things? And for some people, as long as there is love, it doesn't matter whether they have a third leg or not. Sun Yan looked at Lan, who was behind Lu Jing. Scared. Then continue to play. When Sun Yan was mocking the child with his clothes, Lu Jing immediately called a timeout. This, aren't you bullying? You know that Minna is so uncomfortable, but you still say such things, aren't you a bit too much? She is an employee of my company, doesn't she want to make money for me? Hey, Mr. Lu, the employees of your company are not making money for you, so what are they doing for you? Are they talking about your dreams with you? It's something that all children know, then I don't know, but I'm really worried about your mental condition, Mr. Lu. Lu Jing. Now that Lu Jing has not realized that he has been deceived, then he is a fool. You are quibbling. Yes, I'm just quibbling. Mr. Lu, you can speak now. Why don't you say it? If you are quibbler than me, then I will lose. Your skills are inferior to others. What else do you want to say? While here, Sun Yan paused for a moment, with an inquiring emotion in his eyes. Young Master Lu, you can't afford it, can you? Lu Jing is still a 7-foot man after all. Face must never be lost. Especially in front of the woman you love, you must never lose it. So when Sun Yan said the words "I can't afford it," Lu Jing immediately retorted, "Who said I can't afford it? I, Lu Jing, am an upright man, how could I not afford it? No. Just call me my aunt. I'll go to the door of Li's group and tell you." Lu Jing immediately turned around and left with a quick stride. Sun Ying-er. Sun Ying-er really couldn't help but said to Sun Yan, "This guy doesn't think that this will impress Lan Min. I don't think Lan Min will be moved after all. Who would take the risk of marrying a person with a bad mind? What should I do if I give birth to a litter of people with a bad mind?" Sun Ying-er thinks it makes sense. End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 455. Chapter 455. Lu Jing, you really don't need to do this for me. How could Lan Min see Sun Yan being so arrogant? He immediately stopped Lu Jing and said, "Lu Jing, you really don't need to do this for me." Lu Jing. Lu Jing was still feeling a little uncomfortable at first. But after seeing Lan Min like this, I felt that it was really worth it. After all, Lan Yudu started to care about him. I know you care about me very much, but if I don't go, then I will become a laughing stock." After saying that, he grabbed Lan Er's hand, "But even if I become everyone's eyes, it's a joke, so I'm willing to do it." But Lan Min smiled awkwardly and tried to break free from Lu Jing's hand. Because Lu Jing was very strong, it really hurt. "No, but, let alone being embarrassed, even if my face is stepped on the ground by that woman and played with, then I am willing to do it, because I am willing to do anything for you," Lu Jing said in an extremely firm tone. Lan Min is really a little helpless. At this moment, Lu Jing suddenly changed the subject, "But having said that, if you had chosen Li Baikan, this would not have happened. At least Li Baikan would not have found another woman. He is single-minded." The reason why Lu Jing said this was to remind Lan Min in a roundabout way. In addition to Li Baikan, there is also this good man like him. It doesn't matter if you missed Li Baikan, there is still him, Lu Jing. Lan Min's expression suddenly stiffened. And Lu Jing continued, "But if you miss it, you miss it. You didn't choose him in the first place. It's useless to talk about it now. And Sun Yan has said it to that point. Do you really want a third party, Li Baikan's legs? She wouldn't really do that." Lu Jing said with a serious face, "Boer, you don't understand anything without any background. No matter what Sun Yan does, she will always have the support of the Su family, and if she doesn't listen, she will have it when she cuts it off. If you take the uncooked rice back and cook it, you may not be able to use it. You rejected it yourself, do you still want to regret it? This made Lan Min's heart suddenly tighten. She wanted to say something, but she didn't know what to say. Indeed, Li Baikan was devoted to her at the beginning and would never let something like Huo Linyuan happen. It's useless to regret. After all, there is no regret medicine in this world. In my heart, my eyes are all about Sunian, not you. Lan Jian, that's it, this guy Lu Zheng. Go directly to the door of Li Group. And kneel down directly. Shouted, from now on, Sunian will be my great aunt Lu Zheng. Voice can be as loud as you want. Now it's attractive. But Lu Jing didn't think it was a big deal at all. After all, as a man, of course he would do anything for love. Maybe Lan Min is watching behind him now. I was moved to death. Well, Lu Jing guessed half of it right. Lan Min was indeed watching. But there was no emotion in her heart. It's not that she is too hard-hearted. But, what people around you say. What is this guy doing? He is wearing a suit and leather shoes, and he looks like a man. Why does he feel a little mentally abnormal? Hey, God seems to be fair. Although he was given a wealthy family, he was not given a normal brain. But where is this guy's family? Why didn't they come and take him away? Lan Min looked at the guy kneeling at the door. She really didn't have the guts to get close. She was really not as shameless as Lu Jinghao. What else can be done? You can only stay away silently. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Zhang Word. Chapter 456. Chapter 456, I don't like forcing others to do things. When Lu Jing was raped and slipped in front of Li Baikan. When I saw Li Baikan with a dark look on his face, I felt even happier. Hey, there is an unexpected gain here. What are you doing today? I lost a bet with your wife, and she asked me to come to your company and call her, and I am a man of 7 feet, and I will do what I say. At first, Li Baikan was curious about what this guy was up to and felt a little unhappy, but after hearing this, he immediately realized what he was saying, and then said to Zhou Su next to him, take Mr. Lu back and let him continue. After all, if his wife is causing trouble, he cannot cause trouble. But Lu Jing refused this time. I won't go. You brought me here. If I don't go, can't you still be the boss of your wife? Li Baikan, it can't be done. Lu Jing. You must know that no matter how good Lu Jing is, he doesn't want to lose face twice in such a short period of time. I won't go even to death. Li Baikan then looked at Zhou Su. Zhou Su understood what Li Baikan meant. Then I'll call my wife now and ask if she's willing to let it go. If my wife thinks it's okay, Mr. Lu can forget about it this time. This made Lu Jing a little speechless and couldn't help but look at Li Baikan. Li Baikan, you are also a big man after all. How can you be so afraid of your wife? You are not afraid of being laughed at if the news spreads. You haven't had a chance to be afraid yet. These words stabbed Lu Jing directly in the heart. But Li Baikan was looking for an opportunity to call this guy over these days. Since he has already arrived, don't blame him. Do you want to have this opportunity? Lu Jing immediately sat up straight. I don't have any thoughts about Lan Ren anymore, but I don't want to make Huo Linyuan uncomfortable. Lu Jing agreed with this. You have no chance to think about it. After all, Sunian just said that if you get together with another woman, then she will use physical means to cut off your third leg. Come down. When Zhou Su heard this, he burst out laughing. Even though he followed Li Baikan through ups and downs. But I am also a little out of control. But when they looked at the protagonist Li Baikan, the man was very calm. They could even see a smile on his face. Lu Jing and Zhou Su's frightened faces. Li Baikan was not angry at all, but rather happy. After all, Sunian is a little possessive of him, even if it's not because of love. After all, who doesn't want to be his wife's favorite? I won't let such a thing happen, so this kind of thing won't happen. Don't worry. And it's like what I just said, as you said, you don't even have this chance now, so don't be envious. Lu Jing, what is envy? He is not envious. By the way, Huo Linyuan has been a little anxious lately. Don't you want to do something? Lu Jing snorted coldly when he heard this, and then crossed his arms. Your wife just insulted me, and now you are here to order me. Do you think I will obediently let you order me? Humph. Li Baikan nodded, then turned his attention to the document. Josu, see the guests off. Josu immediately walked to Lu Jing's side. Hey, you just sent me away as you said. Why don't you say something more and beg me again? Lu Jing was not calm. No, I never like to force others to make things difficult for me. If you don't want to do something, I won't do it. I never force others to make things difficult for me. End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich John Word. Chapter 457. Chapter 457. Lu Jing, can't you just show off a little bit? Lu Jing looked at Li Baikan. He just wanted to show off. He has suffered such a big loss today, why can't he just show off a little? This Li Baikan really went too far. Now what can I do if I can't get off the stage? I can only force myself to do so. Anyway, he doesn't have much face. I'm not leaving yet, what do you say? Huo Linyuan is worried about the child right now. The reason why he allows you to be with Lan Min is that he feels that you pose no threat to him. If this is the case, then you should take advantage of this opportunity to do something. Lu Jing was a little unhappy when he heard this. What do you mean by not posing a threat? It sounds like he is useless. Now that I'm gone, Lan Min won't want to see you leave him, so you can threaten her to steal some things for you. Then when Huo Linyuan comes to his senses, he will definitely settle the score with Lan Min. Lu Jing frowned. What is your idea? If Huo Linyuan discovers Min'er, the consequences will be disastrous. You are trying to trick me. You are also harming Min'er. Do you think I'm stupid? The more he said, Lu Jing's heart the angrier he became. He stood up and walked to Li Baikan's desk, and slapped the table heavily with his hand. The sound was loud. But Li Baikan just glanced at him lightly. Then don't do it and watch your beloved woman fall in love with someone else. Okay, you can go. Li Baikan. Did I say something wrong? The relationship between the two of them is at a weak stage now. If there is a misunderstanding now, it will definitely affect their relationship greatly. If they take advantage of it, then they will naturally be able to embrace each other. The beauty is gone. Lan Min is only temporarily aggrieved, and if you show up to protect her in time, she may become even more devoted to you. Lu Jing's mood slowly stabilized after listening to Li Baikan's words. Why do you think Li Baikan is right? And you have done something similar before. You asked doctors and nurses to deal with her in my name. Do you think I really don't know? Lu Jing, that is, I am not interested in that woman now. Otherwise, your methods are really. I don't think I can see it. When Li Baikan said this, he leaned on the boss's chair and said, my target is Huo now, and your target is women, so there is no conflict of interest in our cooperation. Lu Jing. I was moved. Li Baikan gave Josu a look. Josu then handed Lu Jing some documents. This is the document we need now. Mr. Lu, please cooperate with me. Lu Jing took it and looked up when he saw the list of documents. If Lan Ren gets these things, are you sure she won't be beaten to death by Huo Linyuan? The core secrets of each project. Although Lu Jing is careless, he also knows what kind of marketing it will do to a company if these things are leaked. How to deal with betrayal people. This is also one of Li Baikan's purposes. Isn't this the world of a novel? In this case, it should be interesting for the male and female protagonists to kill each other. At the same time, Lan Min's life will definitely be difficult, and he can also use this to attack Huo in business. Even if it means taking 10,000 steps back. He has nothing to lose, so why not do it? So, what he has to do now is to coax the guy in front of him into the game. End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich John Word. Chapter 458. Chapter 458. Why do I feel like you are plotting against me? Lu Jing is using his smart brain to start analyzing the pros and cons. At this moment, Lu Jing's cell phone rang. He took out his mobile phone and saw the word Lan on the screen. It's Lan Zhen calling you. Lu Jing did not answer immediately, but looked at Li Baikan. Why do I feel that you are plotting against me? Zhou Su, who was next to him, couldn't help but curse in his heart. This is not a conspiracy. Hey, once a man doesn't love you, he is also very heartless. Then are you willing to let me calculate? Lu Jing. What if you hold me and Huo Linyuan in a snipe clam fight for the fisherman's profit? Then I might lose both my life and my wealth, so you have to give me peace of mind. Lu Jing knew very well that he had a lot to do with this guy Li Baikan. If we are together, it is almost like seeking the skin of a tiger. You want me to give you some reassurance. The head of looting point. Then Li Baikan stood up, took off his suit jacket and unbuttoned the cuffs. The movements are very elegant. Answer the phone. Lu Jing pressed the answer button. He wanted to know what reassurance Li Baikan gave him. I saw Li Baikan walking in front of him with long legs. Punched Lu Jing directly in the stomach. Lu Jing. Lu Jing, you don't follow my wife's instructions honestly and you play tricks on my wife. Do you think I can't tell? You also helped that woman Lan Yan to embarrass my wife. Haha, I really gave you a shame. You're still talking bad about my wife. My wife is the best woman in the world. What qualifications do you have to say that? Zhou Su next to him couldn't stand it anymore. It's really a bit too cruel. It's too miserable to look at. But Lu Jing seized the opportunity and said in Li Baikan's ear in a voice that only the two of them could hear, you can hit me, but don't hit my face. My face was just broken. It's not easy. Recover a little. Since they are allies, Li Baikan certainly knows about this small requirement. As a result, Mr. Lu was admitted to the hospital again. Well, actually Mr. Lu is not that serious. But he felt how serious he had to be to make Lan Zhen feel sorry for him. In this case, the beating I received was not in vain. However, even after Lu Jing stayed in the hospital for a day, Lan Min didn't show up. This really made Lu Jing a little doubtful whether Li Baikan was talking nonsense. Lan Min doesn't feel bad about why he is like this. Moreover, Lu Jing thought about his recent experiences. Find out why I keep getting beaten. He was beaten by Huo Linyuan, and then by Li Baikan, and it felt like these beatings were in vain. Author, ha 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 ha. Just when Lu Jing was feeling depressed, the sound of the door opening rang in his ears. Hearing this voice, Lu Jing's eyes suddenly lit up. I immediately looked over. Unexpectedly, the person he saw was not Lan Min, but Sun Ying-er. This made Lu Jing's expression change immediately. Why are you here? Lu Jing looked at her warily. Lu Jing didn't think this woman was kind-hearted. That medicine last time caused him so much pain. I just heard that Mr. Lu, you have been admitted to the hospital again, so I came to take a look. Although we have not had much contact before, the circle is so big. I can't see you without looking up, so I have done my best in humanitarianism. Sun Ying-er walked to the hospital bed. He walked forward and placed the fruit basket next to Lu Jing. Lu Jing sneered, I didn't expect you to be so kind, Miss Sunday. Huo Linyuan was really blind not to take a fancy to you. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 459. Chapter 459. Frank Lu Jing. Who knows why he is a good person but has bad eyesight, and he actually falls in love with Lan Min instead of me. Sun Ying sat next to her and said naturally, but I'm also curious, why do you all fall in love with Lan, and he's so determined? Sun Ying is really curious about this. Forget it about Huo Linyuan, after all, the two of them truly love each other. But she really didn't understand what was going on with Lu Jing and why he was so determined. When Lu Jing heard this, his body suddenly stiffened. He glanced at Sun Ying and then smiled, because she doesn't dislike me. Sun Ying originally just asked casually, but she didn't expect that Lu Jing would actually answer. I heard Lu Jing say, most of the women I've been in contact with before were close to me because of my money. They were women with the same family background as mine. They all despised me for not being smart. Only Lan Min didn't despise me. Because money is close to me. Sun Ying it turns out that this guy actually knows that he is not smart. I really don't know what to say at this moment. I know that in terms of scheming and means, I can't compare to Li Baikan and Huo Linyuan. Fortunately, my old man is very strong. As long as I can give birth to a child with a good mind, it will be fine. There is nothing wrong with this logic. But if Sun Ying remembers correctly, then this lack of intelligence will still be inherited. Seeing Lu Jing like this, she was really speechless. It's really a bit cruel. Actually, you are not what you said. Then can you marry me? Lu Jing said directly. Sun Ying Can she take back what she said a moment ago? This guy's brain, Lu Jing snorted coldly, look, this is the difference between you and Ji. Ji will not dislike me. Sun Ying originally wanted to be sarcastic. But in this situation, it's really hard to say anything. I can't say it out loud, but if Lan Min really doesn't dislike him, she will marry him. Sure enough, sincerity is really a surefire skill. Young Master Lu, don't feel inferior. It's not that you have a brain problem, you should call it honesty. This is simply too impetuous. It's just that we lack a sincere person like you. I believe you can win the beauty. Then can you marry Huo Linyuan? As long as you marry Huo Linyuan, then Ji will be able to completely give up on Huo Linyuan, so that I can take advantage of him. Sun Ying no. Lu Jing sighed deeply, I really think that Minor is the one who came to save me, but I met her after Huo Linyuan met her. If I had met her before Huo Linyuan, then I can definitely win her heart, but even if I can never marry her, I will protect her well because she doesn't dislike me. Lu Jing's sincere attitude really made Sun Ying a little embarrassed. Isn't it a little too much for her to gloat here now? After all, everyone is like this. Master Lu, I have never seen a more sincere person than you. I believe you will definitely win the beauty back. After all, Huo Linyuan and Li Baikan are scheming all day long, calculating everything. In this impetuous world, you are also considered a person. King Liu. Sun Ying said these words quickly. She also had a purpose in saying this. In order not to laugh out loud. After all, people are so frank, she absolutely cannot laugh. I can't laugh, ha 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 ha. End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 460. Chapter 460, Going out to play is better than playing at home. These days, Sunian often forwards links to children's clothes to Lan Min. Let Lan Ji give me some advice. If Lan Min doesn't reply, she will send messages desperately. That's right, she is so shameless, and she doesn't dare to block her because of Lan Ren. But she also knew not to go too far, so she also bought some clothes suitable for Huo Linyuan's child and sent them to the Huo family. After all, she had to create the conditions for the heroine to endure the humiliation. She estimated that Lan Min on the other side of the screen was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Hey hey. She looked at Lan Min, who had not replied for a long time on the screen, and sighed deeply. But as soon as she sighed, she was held in someone's arms. What's wrong? Why are you sighing? Nothing, just a little too boring. Of course I won't tell this guy that I sent a message to Lan Min to make her angry, because Lan Min ignored her and sighed. But this Lanner's psychological quality is really too low. How could Ian's such psychological quality be my opponent? It turned out that it was because of Chi Lan Min. When Li Baikan heard this, the corners of his lips raised slightly. Are you bored? Then I will take you out for a walk. Forget it, it's getting late now, and we won't be able to play for long. And if you go out to play, you can play anything, it is better to play at home. When he thought of this, Sunian turned his attention to Li Baikan again. Li Baikan. The last time I was interrupted by Josu, it proved that this guy has a desire for me. It can even be said that if Josu had not interrupted, then I might have succeeded. It seems that I have to tease this guy more. Hit his bottom line again and again. After all, a drop of water will penetrate a stone. Li Baikan, why does he feel that his days in the future will definitely be more difficult? Sunian put her hand on his chest and drew circles on his chest casually. And you have been so busy recently, how can I bother you? If you really want to stay with me, then you must let Josu push the work back. This way, the work will be squeezed, and you will be even busier when the time comes. Although separated by clothes. But Li Baikan's emotions were easily aroused by this little woman. Baikan, why don't you speak? It's already good to be able to accompany you. Sunian smiled and said, I know you feel sorry for yourself, but it's only right for two people who love each other to feel sorry for each other. I can't just let you feel sorry for me and I don't do anything, then I'm too heartless. At this moment, Sunian stopped his hand. I'm so thirsty, let me have a drink of water. Sunian then leaned over to pick up the cup placed next to Li Baikan. In the process of taking the body, made his throat feel slightly itchy. Compared directly. This situation is even more exciting. Oh, why did I put it so far? I can't reach it at all. Contact one after another. Li Baikan's mind couldn't help but have some thoughts of exploration, wanting to explore the treasures of her body. Li Baikan knew rationally that he had to stop such behavior. But he couldn't restrain the exploration in his heart. Sunian finally got the water glass, then sat back to where he was before. Baikan, did you see that? I will obediently follow what the doctor said. Li Baikan has only one question in his mind right now. How did she do this? End of this chapter.